Hey guys, this is the Anythingers podcast with your host, Glass Bass and Casey Q, where we discuss, anything.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Kelsey Q, and I got Glass Bass with us. And today we're going to be talking about a new topic, which is dark tourism.
That sounds really creepy. That sounds really scary. Would you mind telling us what dark tourism is at this point?
So if you're not familiar with dark tourism, so you guys imagine that, whatever, people go on vacation all the time. People travel the world like all the time. There's constant flights and everything. But one aspect of tourism is going to a very peaceful and nice place, whether it be like Japan or like Greece or somewhere with a nice beach, that's, like with a lot of like trees and shit. But when you think of dark tourism, it's the opposite of that. So every country in the world has its darkness with it. But, some places in the world may have more darkness. And so dark tourism is basically tourism that involves people going to hotspots involving places in the world that have to do with death, have to do with natural disasters, or, the odd, the macabre, the very just like unnatural things you don't really expect people to really like want to go to on like a tourism spot or like on vacation thing. But in recent years, a lot of different kind of people have been interested in touring and going to these very dark places in the world and have been very interested and fascinated with them. And it just opens our eyes to like, what's really out there and how can we see this in a bigger light,
What compels these tourists to go to places that humanity rather forget?
Exactly. So we really wanted to do this episode on dark tourism because it seems that, a lot of people are becoming more in tune with it. They want to rather go see a dark tourism spot than a more like pristine kind of more touristy area that doesn't have to associate with death and stuff. More touristy, more happy. But
I'm just getting the feeling it's more you're already on the beaten path. If you keep on going to like say Paris and look at the Eiffel Tower, I'm like, been there.
Like exactly, like it's touristy. But everybody goes to the Eiffel Tower. Everybody goes to go see Big Ben or some shit. But who will go to Chernobyl? Who's going to go to Hiroshima, Nagasaki area? Who's going to go to the suicide forest, All of these places that associate with death and loss and natural disasters and all of this shit. Like, who would be willing to do that? And there's so many people in the world that, do this shit.
It's more people than you know, but usually not that many because of the subject nature of dark tourism to begin with. We're talking like death and bad things. Most people go on tour. They go on vacation to see happy things like beaches and puppies and kittens and hot shit on a beach. You get the idea.
Exactly. So I kind of wanted to go over. We're gonna be kind of talking about dark tourism in that, and just kind of exploring some dark tourist spots that people been going to for a long time, and also going into one show on Netflix that has gained a lot of like popularity over a short period of time. Like I just saw the show last week and I thought it was amazing. It was very good, and I binged the whole thing in a day. It's not that long, probably it's like 8 episodes. But like, yeah, whoever hasn't seen the show, you should totally watch it if you're really into like travel and all that shit. So we're going to be talking about that briefly later on in the podcast. But I kind of want to just go over some spots in the world that have been gaining more popularity in the dark tourism subject.
Yeah, we can definitely start off with one location. that that particularly intrigued me in particular. If I recall, it was I can't bring, now keep in mind, I can't say Japanese word that great. I can't. I'm gonna say it as bad. I'm gonna say Fukushima accident. What was it? It was the one in Japan where it had a tsunami, earthquake. Uh,
Well, I wanted to discuss what was in the actual notes first, and then we can start talking about what was featured on the show. So the notes first, like the beginning where it mentions Bran's castle, and then we can kind of go over what the show included. So we don't want to like let's not discuss that part yet. We only have like 40 minutes to discuss, so we can't. We're on a time schedule. Um, so yeah,
oh yes,
it's
yes. It's the legend of Dracula. The legend of yeah. People mostly think of Dracula like a vampire, but it was actually
yeah.
based on actual history, actual gruesome history at that. So
Yeah,
Dracula.
Dracula was. If you don't know what Dracula is, it was a book. It was made by this guy named Bram Stoker. Blah blah blah, and it was loosely based on the real life person called Vlad the Impaler or Vlad the Third Dracula, Vlad Tepe, whatever you want to call him. His name was he was Vlad the Impaler. And it took place. I think he lived in the Braun Castle. Braun Castle. You know, a lot of people go visit it because they're like, "Oh yeah, Dracula," and it's all like fucking creepy, all this shit, holy shit. But you know, I think it was more central, and like many people are thinking like, "Oh, fucking vampire lived here," but that's not the case. Like he was a human being and everything. So yeah,
He just happened to be an incredibly sadistic human being. So like far more sadistic than you would think. Like to the point where he called the Impaler for a reason. I think he impaled like humans on top of like wooden
yeah,
stake, and then you just leave them there. Or like
yeah.
there were so many other like incredibly grisly crappy that the Impaler did. I mean, he's not called the Impaler for nothing. He got that for a reason.
Mm. Yeah, like he did just like stick people on freaking stakes, leave them there to rot pretty much. So he, you know, one interesting fact about Braun Castle, in which, you know, Vlad the Impaler lived. Um, Braun Castle, in the, I think the 18th century, it was actually offered to Queen Maria in Romania as a thank you for uniting the country. I found that a very like interesting kind of little history little thing, and actually really cool. Just like you don't really get that like every day somebody offering you a castle because you united a country or you did something to unite a country. So I thought that was really cool.
But if that was the history, what are people doing nowadays is in terms of dark tourism? What are they doing there? Going to Bram Castle as we speak.
Yes. I think it's the whole like macabre kind of thing. And a lot of death took place there. And people are just enthralled. They're really interested in visiting this place, just like any other dark tourist place, you know? Um, but yeah, I kind of want to skip over the prison one because like I didn't really read much on it. Um, yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I'm gonna
but yeah, it's basically just one of the popular dark tourism spots to go to the site where people think of Dracula, but not really.
exactly.
Basically, there's just more to it than it seems.
Exactly. Well, next, I want to kind of get into a little place in London. Um, it's called the London Dungeon. So when you go to kind of these exhibits, kind of things, um, or like a museum of some kind, you want to see something unusual. You want to see something that's gonna pop out or at you or something. But it's this place in London. It's called the London Dungeon. It was founded by Annabelle Gaddis in 1976, and it's very famed, infamous for kind of in like casing, wax, just really macabre history. Like they have Boudica, which was a English princess, uh, third wife to Louis the. I don't know my Roman numerals. Is that sad?
Yeah, that's very sad. Shame on you.
Shut the fuck up. I don't really know my Roman numerals. I never learned them. I think I know like 1 through 6. Everything else is just kind of like I don't think I learned them till like I was like in high
It,
school. Anyway, it has
speaking of the London Dungeon, it seemed to be like a walkthrough. Basically anything terrible that happened in London, like that's the whole point. We're talking stuff like Jack the Ripper, the Great Fire of London, and like
Sweeney
everything.
Todd, all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, everything bad that ever happened in the old town of London, and it goes on there.
Yeah. So they have like a Jack the Ripper. They got Sweeney Todd. They have I think they said they have a show that incorporates stuff like the Black Death. We got the gunpowder plot. All of this shit is shown in the London dungeon, which is kind of like a show formatting. And then they have one that they have an experience that says it's the Drop of Doom, and it's a free fall ride, stages a public hanging.
Wait. Hold up. That's actually a thing?
So right now in my notes, it's saying the London Dungeon features 18 shows, 20 actors, and 2 rides, one of which we got. So one of them stems from the gunpowder plot, and it includes characters such as a torturer, the plague doctor, and the judge. And guests are encouraged to participate in these shows. The experience includes a drop ride to Doom and a free fall ride staged as a public hanging.
Jesus.
So that tells you a lot about how people want to spend their tourism or their vacation watching somebody get publicly hanged in the middle of a square.
Yeah, just no. There was also like a McCamey Manor, and they mentioned it was like 8-hour long. Okay, though I saw.
Well, before we get to that, let's start from the beginning of what the actual show incorporates. I want to just jump into the McCamey Manor, even though that we're really excited to talk about it because it's on, in the US where we're from. But like, let's start from the beginning where the actual show starts. So like, let's not just jump into McCamey Manor.
But that's the best part. That's like the best part.
I know. I don't want to just focus on McCamey Manor because we are talking about dark tourism and just kind of briefly going over, what the show, has. And yes, McCamey Manor was one of the most fucked up episodes on the show, but like, I don't want to just like focus on one part, even though that's the most exciting one. But all of them all have like a really macabre and creepy factor to them. I just kind of want to go over them all, not in complete detail, not like to the extent like an hour or so, but just spending a little bit of time talking about each one. Just like, whatever, since we only have, a couple of minutes to talk about it. But the first episode, I think, was Latin America. And it was a tour that you got to experience, like Pablo Escobar. If you don't know who he is, he was a very infamous drug lord. And he was fucking rich as a motherfucker.
No, dude,
like this guy had billions of dollars.
He's basically richer than most countries. Like, I'm not kidding.
He was probably richer than somebody in Hollywood that was making tons and tons of money.
Hollywood doesn't even compare. We're talking richer than the entire country kind of rich. Like,
and even when Escobar was incarcerated, like he had a mansion that he was incarcerated in. Like this man was living, even though he was jailed.
He made
He
a
was
deal.
living fucking shit.
He pulled something where he said, yeah, he's gonna go to prison, and it's probably for like publicity purpose. But instead, he wasn't really. Technically, it's prison, but the way he's
But like
living, it's not
like
prison.
yeah, he was incarcerated. He didn't serve time in the US because if he did, then he wouldn't have his shit or whatever. But at this time, um he, in Mexico City, it was very corrupt. He knew a lot of people. He knew how to maneuver and talk to people, and he was a cold-blooded killer. So he knew how to maneuver his way, and there was a lot of corrupt politicians, and he could do that and making his jail time
Tell
and his
me about it.
incarceration
You know,
better.
he was so corrupt to the point where he wanted to assassinate a politician. You know, he was willing to do this, and he did this. He blew up an entire plane just to kill that one politician. Never mind the 300 other souls that was on the plane. And the worst part was the politician wasn't on that plane. All those people
Exactly.
died on the plane just because
Mhm.
of a politician wasn't on that plane in the first place. And
Yeah. And another thing is that in Mexico City, they made a dark tourism. Well, not specifically dark tourism, unless you go there. It obviously is dark tourism spot, but it's a very weird um, kind of place to visit where somebody plays Pablo Escobar, and you can actually witness somebody fake getting some fake. You can actually see somebody getting assassinated there, and it's kind of like a mock thing. And you also have a mock illegal border crossing, which is an 8-hour experience. It's all day. You can actually simulate the whole thing crossing the border, and it's fucking insane. Um,
crossing the border is no joke. You get shot at by like U.S. Border Patrol. It's not. It's like, yeah.
exactly, but they've made it a thing in this country, in this place, to kind of make money off of it, and to also show people like us, who have Wi-Fi, who have all this shit, who are comfortable wherever, but you have these people who ultimately want more than what their country is offering them. So they go and they risk their lives to go see a bigger world where there's more opportunity. Um, and I think that's inevitably what the border crossing thing shows people. But like, yeah, I don't want to focus too much on this. I want to like go through each one in a short manner. So the next one on the show, um, it was focusing on the Fukushima nuclear disaster. We had
Oh,
Nagasaki.
there's so much I can talk about the nuclear disaster. It's just something about the radiation and nuclear disaster that gets me so much. It's like, wow, how do you even
Hmm.
go in that area and you get cancer just by standing there? Terrifying prospect. Well,
Yeah. I mean, like it's not gonna like come to you immediately, but like cancer develops over time, depending on how in like how like how fucked up it is, what kind of cancer it is, and how long it's gonna take to actually, change your body and change everything like that. But um, like the show just focuses on that. We also have different parts where they went to the Fukushima nuclear disaster. There was a hotel band there. It's totally constructed by not constructed by, but it's like the whole staff there is a robot, which I found really cool. There was like a dinosaur robot in the hotel, and like
see,
it's
that dude
strictly
was
just
talking
robots.
a Velociraptor, a freaking robot Velociraptor, for a, like, instead of a person, it was a robot Velociraptor. And then he went upstairs, he got his own room, and now he has a cute little robot that's standing by the lamp, and you talk to it and give it time, and it talks back. It's like, it's completely roboticized.
It was really weird, and it just kind of gives you this like what's that, like this dystopian kind of feeling once you go in this in this hotel because it's just strictly ran by robots. There's no humans around. It's pretty weird. And
It,
also makes me think like, what if they malfunction? Like, what happens then? Because there's no like humans except for the actual. There's no humans except for the actual people staying at the hotel. Like, what if things malfunction? Like, that's just weird.
and the weird thing about talking to these robots, that inherently you're just talking to a programming. It's not like an actual AI where it's pre-programmed response to you. So it's never like actually talking to someone in the first place, although they try.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right. So next episode, we had one in Kazakhstan. Um, we had the guy who is filming, who's a producer, who is the main host of the show. He travels to Kazakhstan and basically uh, it's a test site from the Soviet Union's nuclear weaponry. We get to see Kazakhstan's closed city, which was very, very, very very closed off. Like these guys couldn't get 1 inch towards this closed off city. They were literally just like, nope, you can't go here. Sorry. I found it really interesting that this person who's the host of the show would travel to lengths such as that to go to a country where it's not as united as the United States or anything like that, where there's still like war torn places and there's really nothing that could be done.
No, it can be
But like
done.
I found it really interesting.
Yeah, but he also tried to visit the gates of hell, which is like, yeah, they call it the gates of hell because it's literally a burning gas site. It's like a hole, a freaking crater that just keep on burning because of like excess methane. So someone thought it was a good idea to set this on fire because it was spreading somewhere, and it's been burning since 1971.
Hmm.
So if you were there and if you were on site, yeah, you would not be mistaken for thinking it is the gates of hell because that's what it looks like. But lucky you jump into it, look like a portal to hell itself.
I think in the gates of hell they had let's actually click right here. I think it was a geologists were trying to set something on fire to prevent the spread of methane gas, and it hasn't stopped burning since 1971. So it's been burning for at least 40 something, like 40 years or shit, man.
That's
But like it's
that's a
still
lot of
burning, it's still
methane.
on fire. And I think in the episode, I think one of the governors said, "No, you can't film there. You can't go there." And they wanted to boil a fish or something, but they just were not allowed in. Um,
It's a shame they won't let him in because then you can actually
mm,
see what the gates of hell actually look like. It's basically just a crater with burning methane in it, basically. But it looks so. It just looks like hell if you look into it.
yeah, exactly. Let's see. I actually skipped one. Cause I actually skipped episode 3 of the show. Um, and I actually went to 4, so we don't have to talk about that one. But in episode 3, they went to the U.S. And there was we all know, or maybe some of you guys know about Jeffrey Dahmer, the very infamous serial killer of the I think the mid 80s, who was a homosexual and basically cut up, made lobotomies on dead people and tried to bring them back to life. And he was also a cannibal. So he was pretty fucked up.
This was a man who was not human at this point.
He was very sick. But it was very, very interesting because they made a sort of just like a like it was a tourist spot where you could go and you could basically have a Jeffrey Dahmer tour where they take you around locations that Jeffrey Dahmer frequented, like clubs and places where he just like prey on his victims. I just thought that was weird. And then in the episode, they also had a part where you could apparently talk to his ghost, which I thought that was bullshit.
Something was off.
Anything that part was off. I was okay. You just threw a bunch of hooey in there. You made the whole tour just like not habitable anymore. But I found it really interesting. And you also had where you could actually go on a tour. You could actually go around the fucking state of Texas, or wait, no, New Orleans. That's where no, wait. Yeah, no. Texas, where you could actually see the exact spot where our president JFK was assassinated. Wow.
It was two different tours of it though. Was it like what was the difference between the two different tours he took for the JFK assassination?
So where he went in each episode, he goes on multiple places in that country or in that whatever. So in the United States, he went on 3 different places. He went to the Jeffrey Dahmer, which was in Milwaukee, and he went to the JFK assassination tour, where you can actually go to the exact spot where JFK was assassinated, like the exact spot. Like they would put you in a car and you're driving around in the exact same route as the President JFK went on when he was assassinated. And they would, point you in a direction where like the shooter would actually shoot the president, and there you go. So
yeah, can you imagine? Can you imagine like putting yourself at a spot where history happened in a way, except from the perspective of him, the assassination of a president? Now you think about it.
I couldn't even imagine. I don't even think I'd want to go on a tour. I don't think I'd even want to do that because JFK was very beloved president. A lot of people loved him, and when he was assassinated, it stunned a whole country. So like to go on a tour where these people are making money talking about and actually driving you through the exact route where JFK was assassinated in front of his wife. I don't think I could do that. It's pretty depressing.
Do you think it was wrong or right for them to make tour on a series of events where a beloved president was assassinated?
I don't think it's. I can have different votes of opinion on it. I don't think I do it mainly because that's my opinion. I don't think it would suit me because somebody like a president was assassinated here. Like I don't think I'd want to be in that situation. But for people who are thrill seekers, want to see something like that, then I guess I can see the appeal, but I just wouldn't do it. It's something that I wouldn't want to actually do that. Would you want to do that?
That's that's a tricky question. In one way or another, like you want to see history in a certain perspective. Yeah, I can imagine myself going up there right to the spot where the president was assassinated, and more than anything, it should give you a creepy feeling of deja vu. It's almost like, well, this is the weirdest feeling I've ever had in my life. I'm actually at the spot where it happened, and it should give you a weird feeling that you never get otherwise.
Exactly. It was pretty trippy to see. And then you have one part in there. I don't want to focus too much. I kind of want to move on. But they did visit the New Orleans where like in the New Orleans, you got like Mardi Gras, you have all that shit. But it's a very dark corner of the U.S. where it focuses a lot on like voodoo and shit. Good food, good people, lots of very lively. But like I think one of them he went to go spend some time with vampires. I thought it was complete bullshit. If you wanna fight me on that, then you can.
I'll fight
but
you. Why you think it can be bullshit? The real life vampire? Are they really
um,
real? Or are they just pretending? Like, do they just like to taste the
I
blood?
don't think that they're real vampires because if you see in all these movies, I'm not saying that like vampires are based on the movies, but in movies, you never see a vampire eat some cake. You never see them walking around unless there's some kind of like hybrid or like Twilight or some bullshit. But
I was gonna mention, do they sparkle in the sunlight? Now I'm gonna mention that.
no. No. Well, you have to understand that Twilight is a different take on vampirism. It's not they're hybrid vampires. Not every vampire sparkles. If you see fucking Interview with the Vampire, they're old. They're from the traditional vampire viewing where a vampire can't walk out into the sun and they don't sparkle and they don't eat fucking deer blood. They drink human fucking blood. They are old. They're traditionalists. They don't none of all that shit. It's a bunch of bullshit. In Twilight, that's different. That's a modernist take on vampire. You know, they sparkle in the sun. They're vegetarians. Like, it's different. We're not going to get into Twilight because that's not what this episode is about.
But I was gonna mention about.
I know a lot of people out there want us to spend 50 minutes or so talking about Twilight, but this is not the episode. Maybe in the future, but not here.
But but back to real life vampire. They're obviously human.
I thought it was a bunch of bullshit.
But like, how do they convince themselves that they think they would be vampires to sustain themselves on drinking other blood when they're human? Their biology doesn't account for drinking blood to be your ingredient. I mean, technically you can drink blood. Technically you can, but like,
you can drink blood. It's not recommended, but you can. I don't see why you would want to because the sight and the actual smell of blood make me sick. Like, it just smells like pennies. Like,
I forget to mention that you definitely don't want to drink certain blood, like infected
exactly.
blood or. Yeah.
But like, I also like they mentioned that they have donors in this. When the vampires, they have donors where they trust only a certain number of people to actually let them suck their blood. So they're not drinking infected. Like, if you have AIDS, obviously you're not going to drink that person's blood. But like, if your blood is clean or whatever and you know this person for a long time, then I guess you could suck their blood. But I think it's a more rigorous process than you might think when it comes to a vampire. And I'm making air quotes right now because I think it's all bullshit. Sucking blood.
It's basically role playing. They like they took.
Yeah, I think they're role playing. I think they're living in a fantasy. The part where they're actually sucking, like drinking blood, is the part where I'm like, you need Jesus.
It's all one giant elaborate role play that they took a little bit more seriously than other role plays.
Exactly. I think it's pretty nuts. So we're gonna move on to one episode that he had. I think we talked about that one. So we're gonna move on to the episode 5, where it was talking about Europe. He went to Europe, and there was a World War II reenactment. And you had what really stunned me about it is how accurate it was and how very real it was. Like, I've never been before.
Like, if you do a mock battle, like, you have to die a certain way, you have to be shot. Like, I mean, like, you get shot with certain things and then you fall down and you pretend you're dead. Like, I was wondering, yeah.
It was very real. It was very realistic. And people, you even had German, you even had Nazis who were dressed like Nazis, and I think the guy David, I think his name is, was very shocked and kind of question why, these German men were dressed as Nazis. You can't be dressed as a Nazi in Germany anymore. That is like super, super illegal. I think you can die if you do that. That is like
Yeah,
punishable by
yeah.
death.
I may want to bring up one more thing about the Nazi thing, where you know how so there was a game called Wolfenstein 2. That's the game's all about shooting Nazis, right? So in America, you can get the game, you can see full Nazi swastika and all that. But if you try getting a German version of this game in Germany, you don't see Nazi swastika at all. You see a different symbol entirely. Even like Hitler himself, it's not called Hitler. They remove his mustache. Like everything that has to do with swastika or Nazism is taken out even a game that's about shooting Nazis. That's how strict.
Well, like Germany has evolved so much, and the whole Nazi thing, that whole thing with them imprisoning Jewish people and the concentration camps, I really think that they've evolved, and it's shameful. Just like slavery in the US is shameful.
Yeah, you do
They
have a
did kind
point.
of the same
It's
thing.
like
And yeah,
yeah.
so when you go to Germany, it's very diverse. It's very diverse.
I
Um
mean, no,
doing You
no.
can't even say Nazi in the street. I don't even you go to prison if you say Nazi or any kind of shit, any kind of propaganda with Nazi shit. It's punishable. You're going to jail. You can't, it's no way around it.
Oh, that is that German's dark past. Every country has their own dark
Every
past.
country has a dark past. So moving on, they also went to la 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 la. They also went to a museum in the UK that is known and infamous for having a very, very graphic depiction of different kinds of parts of history and sculptures and whatever it might be. I think he had a whole like section dedicated to um kind of like the Jim Crow era in the US. They had blackface, they had they had the people who dance in blackface. What do you call those guys? Uncle Sam's or something?
Yeah, it was like Uncle
They
Sam,
had
basically.
Sambo. Yeah, like he had a whole thing on that. He had, like depiction of people getting hanged. It was pretty messed up shit. Had he had a section on the concentration camps, and if you in any way um are triggered in any way, you can fast forward.
Just,
But
just keep in mind that this podcast called The Anythingers for a reason. We
yeah,
will
and
talk
I
about.
want to really touch on this one because he had a section in this, in this museum about concentration camp, and it was very graphic, in which you have Jewish people hanging from trees, and people were getting raped. Like he had this in his little section, and it was like a diagram of this,
A
and
diagram of a diagram of evils committed by
like
humanity.
it was really graphic. You have like these little, you know, figures, and it was just depicted in just this horrible way. And I don't think it phased him, but like at the same time, he has this museum that's, full of just real things that actually happen, and in some way he has to keep this demeanor that I don't think it bothers him in that degree, because he owns all of this shit. He owns this museum that depicts all of this real shit that actually happened, even though it is offensive, even though it's horrible to look at, even though when you're looking at it, you feel sick to your stomach,
Yeah, I
but
mean that's the thing about these places. Like, not everything like puppies and kittens. You can't pretend that everything is puppy and kitten. Like there are some parts of history, some places where just horrible things just yeah, they
mm,
happen. and there's no way around it. You can't sweep it under the rug. They happen, but it's part of history. You have to learn from the darkness. You can't
Exactly.
yeah, basically.
Mm. And I think that's another reason why people like to go to these dark tourism spots, because it really teaches you more than just having a good time in the sun, and people showing you like the beautiful parts of your country, where like the dark tourism people, like they're like, oh no, I don't want to see just the beautiful, I want to see the messed up, I want to see the fucked up, I want to see you know how it all went
You
wrong, like how it's still messed up.
in a way, you may want to show all the good that you have in a country or whatever, but
Yeah.
you're not complete. No one is
Mm.
ever 100% good, 100% goody two shoes. No one that could not exist. Not in this world, not in this day and age. So of course, if you truly want to be complete about something, you have to see the darkness.
Mm.
And so I don't blame the dark tours for going to these places because it it, it makes you more enlightened as to what actually happened. In other words, it makes you. I would kind of say appreciate. You get to appreciate history much more so if you understand every aspect of what happened there. Not just
Mm.
not just looking at like, oh, we did good. We're the good guys. We're the good guys. Like a lot of history, they all think that history is written by the victors, right? What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, there's often a lot of pages where the good guys also did bad stuff, but no one wants to talk about it. They sweep under the rug. And here's the thing.
History repeats itself. Definitely.
But like, you can't just sweep everything under the rug. It happened.
No.
So yeah,
No.
what are you gonna do?
Mm. All right. So now we're gonna be moving into the episode 6 of Dark Tourism, or Dark Tourist, where he goes to Southeast Asia. Um, he goes to this one shooting range in Cambodia, where you can basically shoot anything, where you can shoot targets and shit with any kind of gun you want, and you can also shoot a live animal.
Wait,
Now,
wait, wait. You shot animal there? Damn.
well, like this is in Cambodia in Southeast Asia, and there is a place, is a shooting range where you can basically shoot a target or anything like that with basically every kind of artillery that you can think of. They even have fucking rocket launchers if you can handle that. But like they also
Speaking of rocket
for
launchers, you don't want to get hit by the backblast of those things. Like if you're right behind one of those, like bazookas, the backblast of it can knock you over and knock your skull off. Yeah,
yeah.
be careful of those rocket launcher kids.
Yeah. Please don't mess with rocket launchers. If you're a child, if you're listening, please don't. Please don't. And I don't even think you can get that kind of weapon here. I think that's very illegal in most places. Um, but yeah, like if you also pay a little extra money, you can actually shoot a live animal, like a cow, a lamb, anything. Well, not anything, but you can shoot a cow.
Poor cow. Oh, I need.
But the guy, he wanted to actually see if he could do it, so he paid more money for them to let him get a cow. And the people that were already there were like, "Oh man, you're gonna shoot a cow? That's fucked up." And he didn't actually shoot the cow, thank God. Um, but yeah.
It would quite the moral dilemma. Can you shoot the cow?
Do you shoot this, you know, thing that you eat pretty much every day or every couple of days or whatever, or do you just not shoot it? Like I wouldn't shoot it. Like I love meat, but like I'm not going to shoot a cow. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, because
And like yeah.
the cow is like it's still a living being. I mean, I understand we eat burgers and stuff, but that's like
Yeah.
leave that
And
to leave that to the slaughterhouse. Leave that to them. We're not in that position to do that now.
Yeah, and in some cultures, in some countries, cows are considered sacred beings, sacred
Yeah.
animals.
Oh,
So yeah,
especially in Hindu, especially in India,
yeah,
even cows are considered basically an incarnation of a god. Of
basically.
a
I
god.
I have a friend. She's Indian, and she doesn't eat beef. So or just pork. No, she doesn't eat beef. So a cow is a very sacred animal in India. So yeah, eating beef is like eating God or something. I don't really it's not, I'm not into, I don't practice Hinduism. Please don't drag me. But I understand.
It's like yeah, I understand because to her it's like you are literally eating the flesh of God. Would you do that? No.
Basically, it's considered a very sacred animal. All right. So moving on, also in Southeast Asia, uh, he, God, go away. No. Okay. Shut up. He goes to a place in Southeast Asia, um, where you can, I think it's Indonesia, and he meets a man there where like they have like a tradition where you can bury up, where you can unbury your loved one, and you can have them out, out and about, and basically people like pray to them, they talk to them, they give them money. So like you have, just imagine you uh you unburying your deceased relative that's been dead for a set amount of years, and you just having it out in the open, and you're just like you're talking to them, you're taking pictures with them. I don't find it
How does that
bad, but
work?
it's
How did that even work? Like, how you talk to someone that's dead for that long while? Like, how did that even work?
I don't think I think it's a different perspective because we're American. That kind
Yeah.
of thing, death is not something that's celebrated. When you go to a funeral, especially in the US, people cry. People fucking they just a little, they cry. It's not a celebration that's really like, it's not happy, and death is feared, you know? But in some countries death is celebrated, you know?
It's
And
yeah. I mean, we're sad about it. It seems like in other countries and other cultures they celebrate it. I think they're celebrating it and like it was a great thing that happened and getting let's enjoy the time we had. Maybe they're celebrating
mm,
that. Maybe
yeah,
they're celebrating the good memories rather than
exactly.
crying over that because she died. Yeah, I understand that, but like figuring,
And
I think in a way the other countries and cultures took a more upbeat attitude to it. If you think about it.
yeah, obviously it's not like a happy thing when somebody dies, but like in some ways you're like, in what all the funerals that I've been to, it's been very depressing, it's been very sad, everybody's crying, and for the most part this event in which somebody passes away is not for the dead, it's for the living. And in some countries it's just for the dead, like they celebrate, they eat with them, whatever, and it's celebrated, people are happy to spend time with whatever, and that's why they have like the Day of the Dead in like the Mexican culture, which I find really beautiful actually, and there's been movies, and I
I,
find it very beautiful.
I'm not gonna lie, the Gay again in Mexico is a very unique concept
It's
of respecting the dead. Not gonna lie,
mm,
not to mention the art. That's gorgeous ass art if you ask me.
yeah, you got the sugar skulls and everything. It's pretty badass. I love it 100%. I celebrate it, if I can. I don't want to offend anybody, but like I totally celebrate it. I like to know who celebrates Day of the Dead. Um, whoever's listening, if you do, that's awesome. I want to know more about it from a personal perspective. So yeah. Anyway, um, last episode before going on to our
Yes, last episode.
anticipated McCaney Manor is he went to Africa, And I'm pretty sure maybe some of you are familiar with the term voodoo. And
Voodoo.
when we think about voodoo, what do we think about? We think about fucking, uh, uh just like fucking curses and hucks and what do you call that? Hercruxes or something like that. I forgot what the word is.
Crusher. We don't know the exact name for it, but yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
crusher.
But like you think of like basically curses and just wishing bad on people and all of that. And it's basically what people, mainly do when you think about voodoo. So this guy goes to Africa and he goes to observe different kinds of voodoo. And it's pretty cool. Like I think he goes to like a voodoo festival, and he also goes to like this certain part in Africa, and he experiences like an exorcism or somebody getting possessed or something by a voodoo god. And he learns that there's different parts of or different kinds of voodoo, good and bad.
Good. I mean, they do voodoo, but it doesn't even. I don't think it even works. Like you have a doll and you pinch it and you try to put curses on it, and you're supposed to be saying,
I don't like like he was saying, like unless you've seen it, I don't think that one aspect of something is just that. But like he was saying, he had this perspective on voodoo where it was just like you're putting curses on people and all that. But like it's a different perspective once he's been in it. And like the woman was saying when he was, when he was talking to her, she said there's a different kind of voodoo. There's good and there's a bad voodoo. And she was a priestess, so she participated in like the good kind. But like you have these gods in voodoo. Like I'm not too keen in like the voodoo world or whatever. Don't drag me. But yeah, like you have these different gods and they do crave blood or whatever, and they have all these traditions and all these kinds of sacrifices that you have to do. But like it's different kinds of things, and you can different kinds of voodoo. And if you say one thing, everything is really just like specific in voodoo too. I saw in like the documentary. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, most people think of voodoo as like this only one bad aspect of it, like the whole part about putting a pinky on
Yeah.
a doll. That's like what most people think in traditional popular culture, whereas it seems to be like it's an actual religion in parts of Africa where they believe that there is spirits in everything. Essentially, they're different kinds of spirits, and
Yeah.
their version of God, and their version of like gods and goddesses, accept the spirits inside all things as it is.
Basically. And I think it's pretty cool. And yeah. So now one more thing from Africa. He went to Johannesburg, and he went to this place there
Well, the
where
township.
you
He went to a township basically, and you want to see. They suppose they township are like endangered places, and yeah, let's just see how endangered it is.
yeah, so he went to this township where they believe that there would be an uprising between the black South Africans and Afrikaners, which, if you don't know what Afrikaners is like a like a Dutch kind of thing in South Africa. Don't drag me if I'm getting this completely wrong. um, but like they think that there's going to be like some kind of uprising between the blacks and the Afrikaners. And so these people are called Suidlanders. And so they live in these small communities which are only inhabited by white people. And so when you go into this, there's no black people in this community, and they're all shut off and they're all like living their lives or whatever, but they're scared, and they're always having these preventative meetings or these preventative kind of like I think they were doing like practices for like the real thing, and like they were doing like doomsday kind of shit. I was shocked.
Wait. Yeah, yeah, there's an actual group that actually believe that there can be a giant race war. It'd be like apparently black versus white, as if,
Yeah.
huh. But
Well, that's what
honestly,
they believe.
yeah, that's what they believe. Honestly, the war is about choice. It's always going to be. I mean, honestly, we've had wars where like black versus black, then white versus white. It doesn't matter. Humanity will kill each other regardless. Ain't no way war is not racist. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel you. People fight over racist shit. People of all colors and people are racist, but war itself, I don't think is racist because all kinds of people are dying every day in war. So yeah,
War only kills. Does not matter what you are,
yeah,
creed or
ex-
skin or whatever.
exactly. All right. So on finally, we're looking at one of the most fucked up, hauntedest places. Not haunted. I'm just gonna say this place is fucked up. And we're talking about the McCamey Manor, y'all. If anybody is out there that's listening has been to McCamey Manor, please tell me and share your experience because I would really, honestly, wholeheartedly want to hear what the fuck happens in there. Um, but from what I've seen, I heard about this thing. It's in the South. I forgot what part it's in. I think
Oh my
Texas.
god.
Is it in Texas?
They
Yeah.
actually, it's
No,
like,
Kentucky. No, Kentucky? Yeah. No, wait, no. Tennessee. It's in Tennessee. I don't know my states. But anyway, I've seen videos on YouTube. I've seen documentaries that have profiled or not profiled that have detailed this haunted mansion kind of thing for Halloween. But do you consider this like Halloween esque, or do you just
that's like maybe the most depraved Halloween thing you can do legally. Keyword
I don't
legal.
even
Is it
so like
legal?
uh, yeah, yeah, it is legal because he's this place was originally in California, San Diego to be specific. I did a little research. This place used to be in San Diego. I don't know for what reason they moved and they went to Tennessee or the South or whatever. And now they're doing it there. So it was based here and it used to be here, but then they moved to the South. Um, but I just want to kind of go into what the fuck makes this place so fucking like what makes people attracted to go here anyway. I don't understand.
People just want to see strange shit, even if it
I
goes
don't
to
even it's not even like it's not even a place you go to go see strange shit. If you want to go see strange shit, you go to like Ripley's Believe It or Not, or you go to the Wax Museum, or like a forest. I don't know, but like
so. Yeah, this
I,
podcast to me what actually happened in McCamey Manor, the 8 hour haunt of assault, violation, and this podcast to me, puke swallowing.
yeah.
Who said puke swallowing? What is that a thing?
Well, many people are into that. I'm not, but many people are into that.
It,
I think I think this is just a place where sadistic people get to roam. Um, I don't understand what.
is this whole thing maybe some people with certain fetish can go there and they really like
No, like
doing that?
what I'm getting is when I saw, when I saw the guy who does the Dark Tourist show, he couldn't even finish it. I don't think he could. He didn't even fucking finish it. It took him literally a minute to be like, I can't fucking do this anymore, because like once you sign, and I want to be, and I also want to say, if you go here, it's not like going to Universal Studios where you buy a ticket, you go in this place for a couple hours and come out and you're good. No, it's not this. You have to sign. There's an extensive vetting process from what I've researched. There's a 7-step process to vet potential participants. First, attendees must be 21 or older. So if you're 18, another 3 years, my friend. And then they must also present a letter from a physician that clearly that clears him physically and mentally. A background check comes next, and haunt owner conducts Skype interviews to screen his willing victims. Then they must provide proof of medical insurance, sign a 10-page waiver, and pass a drug test on the day they're scheduled for the full experience. So
After you do all that, what do you get? Is that what
you go to the thing. They have to make sure that you are physically and mentally sane to do this. Because there is I believe it's a fucking waiting list to go to this place. Like it's not just like any kind of haunted attraction where you're just like, all right, you're going in. Like you have to be mentally sane to do this. You need a freaking note from your doctor stating that you are mentally sane and both physically capable of going into this haunted attraction. That's what fucking, like, that's crazy to me. There's a 7-step process. And also you need to sign a waiver, and it's completely legal, by the way. Like, because you're signing a waiver saying whatever this guy does to you is okay. It's cool. So the law can't really help you because you signed this fucking waiver. Are you
literally signing a contract or a waiver?
You're signing a contract.
To suffer the pain and torture you get in there?
You're saying it's okay to have this crazy ass man do whatever the fuck he wants to you for set amount of hours, unless you say, unless you say verbally, I don't want to do this anymore. But like contractually, fucking waiverly, you signed this waiver so the law cannot help you. You're saying you are giving permission for this man to do anything he wants to you for set amount of hours.
Oof. Don't do it in the first place, kids. Don't
not.
Don't sign that waiver.
Holy shit. Like, and it's been, and I think like he had like a lawsuit or something where like one of his people like went to this thing and they tried to sue him. It's also like Jesus Christ, like, and he also doesn't charge any money for this attraction. The only fee it says right here is to enter the haunt is a few cans of dog food.
Wow. I think like it's a horror show, it's a horror house, except they want you to feel like
I mean, like, what really defines horror? I mean, like, to me, this isn't horror. This is torture. Horror and torture are completely different things. Like, this, I don't even know what the fuck this is. This is, whoa.
No Mercy version? There's actually a version that can go in there and there's a No Mercy.
Like, I've seen videos in which people they're literally getting dunked into ice cold water. They're being hypothermia. I think somebody had a stroke here. They didn't die, but they had a stroke here.
And you know what gets me? Even if they do physical harm to you, the cops can't do anything about it. You signed the waiver.
You signed the waiver. You gave permission for this fucker to whoever, Mr. McCamey, to freaking do anything he wants to you. If he wants to puke in your mouth, he's gonna puke in your mouth. Ugh. I wouldn't sign anything like this. I wouldn't go here. If you wanted to go here and you're like, oh man, I don't want to go here and like whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to go here, blah, 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 and you sign this waiver and then you say like, oh shit, it's too intense, I didn't want to go. Why did you go in the first place?
Yeah, and the funny thing is you pay them dog food. It's not cash. You pay these guys dog food.
Yeah, he's not profiting from this. I like in the documentary he said like the only thing kind of income he's profiting like he gets is his veterans his retirement veterans check, which is $800. So he's not profiting from this. You don't even need to pay. You're just donating a few cans of dog food and it goes to a charity or something. Yeah. I think he fundraises the money for like the cost to actually like put it on. But holy shit. this place is terrible. I mean, like you're not only signing up to get scared, you're actually it's fear. It's not like monsters and ghouls and vampires and bears. Oh my. It's fucking like I might get punched in the face, I'm getting scratched, I'm fucking being dunked in ice cold water, I'm being drowned. Like it's a different kind of fear. It's like real. You're getting tortured. Fucking
Are
crazy.
you saying that it's a different kind of torture? I mean, would you compare
This is a different kind of fear. Like you go to you go to like a haunted mansion at Disneyland, and there's a few little pops and scares every now and then. It's really cute, you know, it's Halloween or whatever. You know, you get kind of scared a little bit, whatever. But this is a different kind of fear. This is a carnal fear. This is what people don't usually want to do. Nobody wants to be fucking tortured or verbally abused to the point where they cry and literally are calling to Jesus. Like, this is a different kind of fear. This is the reality fear. Like, it's not a fear where you're like, oh shit, like I'm scared to sleep at night because there's like monsters and shit. Like, no, I think it's a different kind of fear. This is like survival. Like, you feel like you're gonna die. Like, you go here and you literally feel like you're gonna die. These people look like they're dying.
is that what you wanted? The feeling that you're going to leave this earth? Huh?
Exactly. And I think I think some people, like real thrill seekers, not me, but real thrill seekers, they want to feel a thrill. And this place probably provides that, very much so.
Good
Because
God.
there's different kinds of shit that they're doing. They're putting bugs in your mouth. There's spiders and shit. Like, you're actually injured. You're bleeding. You're like, fuck, man.
Wow. Just wow.
And like, it's also never the same each time. So it changes. Like, I don't know. Like, it changes yearly, I guess.
It's what kind of torture? The whole thing is torture, but some people agree to it. It's like
You're
so,
getting like, I don't like, it's different each year. Maybe one year it's like escaped convicts, or one year it's like, ooh, bug mania or something. But it's always gonna have that certain quality where it's the same, where like they're verbally abusing you, they're telling you like, oh, you're a piece of shit, like they're cursing at you, like it's all kinds of self, like you, they're like, it's so self-depreciating. But some people want that. I don't know.
Jesus, people want to be verbally abused. People want to be covered
But
in
I've
mud.
also
And
I've
people,
also
and what are they eating? People eating something they don't even know what they're eating. Like, can you even what?
I don't think it's like, of course they're not giving you Big Macs in this place. I think they're putting like it's a torture place. You're signing up for whatever sadistic like shit whatever that you did. I'm pretty sure they're not giving you like actual like nice food. They're not gonna give you the good shit. They're probably gonna give you some like bugs or like rotten food or some shit. I don't know.
No,
I wouldn't.
no God
Or
can
you're gonna
save
eat
you
your
now.
own. You're gonna like eat your own puke like that. There's your food. Like, ugh, God.
Just yeah.
Mm.
I'm not going there. And it makes me wonder.
I would never go there.
Why about the guy who put the torture on you? Like, how do you agree to this?
The guy who did the show, he went to McCamey Manor. He did the whole fucking process, the whole waiver thing, signed all these papers, and then he was going into it, and he was about to go into it, and then like the guy who is in charge of it started hitting him, started like calling him like bad things, and the guy was like, I can't do this anymore. I literally can't do this anymore. And then like the other dude that was with him who said that he wanted to do it didn't even last like he only lasted maybe like 5 minutes. And he was like, I can't do this anymore.
Only 5 minutes? And how long was the thing supposed to be? How long were they supposed to be?
8 hours. 8 hours. The thing is 8 hours. Nobody has finished this. people have come close, but like it's always been like, I can't do this anymore. But the thing is fucking 8 hours. You're signing up to be tortured for 8 hours. What the fuck?
I think some
There's
people. I'm
12
telling.
hours in a day.
I'm,
8
I'm
hours.
I'm just
Holy
saying
fuck.
maybe some people don't think it's only 8 hours, and then they
Yeah, like I think people are like, oh, it's only 8 hours. It's not gonna be that scary. Like you only last for like 5 minutes. But holy shit. I mean, any fucking haunted attraction that lasts for 8 hours, that's pretty much overnight. You're spending the night there. Like, holy shit.
Jesus. Yeah. I think what they do is you say 8 hours, you go through this, and you want to say you have the balls to do it because you think, oh, it's only 8 hours of everything you do to me. Yeah, it'll be nothing. Yeah. And then they go there and they can't do it.
Exactly. I don't think you could pay me money to go to this place.
No.
Like if somebody offered you like $10 billion, would you do this?
Oh my god. Yeah, they do torture on you that makes you bleed. Like, not kidding. They will do stuff to you
They
that makes
punch you, they scratch you, like everything that you sign in the waiver, you're given permission to do this. Like if they said, if in the waiver they said like we can physically harm you, then they're gonna do it.
Hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see why they can't go 8 hours. They will do anything to get you to quit. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Jesus. But yeah, it's I don't know if somebody could pay me enough money to go to this place. It's like I don't like to be touched. I don't like to be
is it considered torture?
ugh.
Is it considered torture? It's a question. If it's not,
I think it is. I think it is because like um in some aspects like no, because like you're ultimately signing up to be tortured. So like in a way you're self-sabotaging yourself. Like like that's all you. But like once you go in there, like it's totally unexpected. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, and it's like, you know, then it's like that's where the real torture begins. But like ultimately you signed up for this shit. You signed up to be punched in the face
yeah.
or something.
Even if you sign up to it, doesn't mean that they can torture. Yeah, there may be a way of it, sure, but if it's torture, then get out. Technically, torture is illegal.
I mean, like, um, if it's, I don't know how he did it legally, but like this waiver process and this psychological fucking thing, it's all in the waiver. So people that come to this thing, and he's not profiting from this. People that go to this thing are signing up for basically to get spit on, to be vomited on, everything. So
Actually,
it's
the
all
waiver
in
itself.
contract.
Actually, back to the waiver. Now they mention that the waiver says they're held there until they physically can't continue or mentally break. Either you
Basically, yeah.
so
And I also think there was like he mentioned that there used to be a safe word you could say if you couldn't like go on anymore. But there's no longer a safe word. So if you say something, they're like, no, you have to say this unless you like, you know. So like there's no safe word you can say to get the fuck out of here. Like you have to say like something else, I think, to actually like physically get the fuck out of there. But like there's no safe word. It's like literally nothing you can do unless you say whatever they say to make you get out of there. Like it's fucking demented. Like,
it,
is it torture? Like, I don't know.
wow, just yeah, just
Yeah,
is it really considered a haunt? This isn't a haunted house.
it's
It's
a, it's an extreme. It says it's an extreme haunted house experience. So I think they have aspects of like horror but they also incorporate like the aspects of like true horror and torture and all that shit.
So in other
So
words,
yeah, it's a horror attraction.
so in other words, yeah, you're actually getting like beaten and pissed on and eating crap, but like at the same
Because
time,
being psychologically and mentally abused is something that's true horror. Like that's horrifying.
well, to be fair, the guy himself said it was supposed to be like a real life horror movie experience, and that was the idea. Like all the torture that you've seen on actors in the movies and film, and they'll be on you, which is the idea behind this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
stuff like Saw, stuff like Hostel, that kind of movie. Where I mean, except the difference here that they're not actually chopping your limbs off. Well, they will beat you up. They will torture you, yeah, but
I don't think they're like legally allowed to like chop your limbs off. Just enough to mentally break you is what they're intending to do.
yeah.
Like I don't think there's a place where like they can be legally allowed to like mutilate you. But like they want to the point is they want to mentally break you. They want to make you unsound. You come in there and you're all jolly and shit and you're like, yeah, I'm a pusher. I'm a do this. I'm mentally I do this. I'm a badass. And then you go in there and you fucking break because like they call you a bitch or they call you like they're fucking pushing you and shit. Like it's enough to like mentally break you. Like the fucking Rock can walk in there. He's buff as shit, you know, strong. I don't think he'd last. Sorry,
yeah,
Rock.
I wouldn't be stupid enough to say, oh, it's just 8 hours, because you look at it and you're like, well, they're squirting fake blood on you. They're making you eat weird stuff in your face, and they're like, you're dirty, and they put you in water, and then they, no.
Yeah. But yeah, we went over a lot. So yeah, that is our podcast. Let us know what you think. How do you take dark tourism? And would you do any of this stuff? But yeah. So that's our podcast for today. We'll be back on Tuesday. Blah blah blah. Love y'all. Bye.
I sign off. Bye to you folks.
Me.